Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 58 of the Talking with the Dad podcast this evening. Steve, we have sponsors. As Steve takes a drink of his water. Wow, way to ruin the entire bit. Okay, moving on. CDL going to PC and controller. Wow, we're gonna burn through this one. Steve is
Hold on for a second. How are your steaks tonight, man?
Very good.
Yeah. Would you anything different, or could you like turn it into a grill master over there? We're gonna get you a pair of New Balances.
It was a ribeye. It was good. I've noticed that I think I like skirt steak a little bit better than ribeye now. I think skirt steak takes to a marinade a little bit better than a ribeye, I think. So you can get better flavor. I think out of a skirt, but you know, I could be wrong. I'm not a professional grill master. I just play one on the internet.
Yeah. Could you imagine if you started getting hate for some of those guys? Like we start posting your pictures and all those grill masters that are always skewering and scouring the internet looking for messed up recipes. If they start coming at you with their fat bellies, their flannels are coming up above their belly, and like, no, this is how you marinate a steak. How would you respond?
I wouldn't care. I don't have time in my life to pay attention to what other people think about my food.
Oh, then why do you send me pictures of it?
Because you enjoy them.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense. Dude.
Gotta know your crowd, Steve. Gotta know your crowd.
Yeah, that's true. play to your audience, man.
Play to your audience. Absolutely.
Opposition over there. I turn this way.
Like, yeah.
Good spread. We had some kielbasa from the prime time. I always love that stuff. Santana baked it tonight. Amazing.
Interesting. Baked it on sauerkraut or just like baked it on a...
No, just baked it. Cut it in little pieces, baked it, made it a lot less greasy. I was hoping that, the fresher stuff wouldn't be as greasy as the packaged stuff. It's a little bit greasier actually. Gets to your tummy, but had that with some French fries. Perfect dinner.
You don't drain. Wait, you should have guessed yourself. You don't drain it first.
No, I don't.
You're like, I just drink the grease.
I get the burnt gristle off of there too.
Oh, God.
Crazy thing, man. I was out to Hibachi in California for a buddy of mine's birthday, and I seen the strangest thing while we're sitting down. They're getting ready to do the tricks. That uncomfortable thing when they're throwing shrimp in people's mouths.
Oh, I like that. It's fun.
Yeah, no, not for me. Go ahead. The next guy over looks like he really wants to catch that, but. A guy that I'm sitting next to, who was also extremely annoying, asked the chef, could he have the burnt gristle grease parts?
That's disgusting.
And he puts it in a bowl and starts eating it at the table, and I'm just like why is this happening?
What? Okay, all right. Well,
no, dude, no.
The entire beginning of the show for me.
Man, no, dude, he had 3 bowls of it, man.
That's okay. I don't know why he kept going. Wow. Wow. I really have to think about life after that one, honestly.
I love that you look down and you're like, good God.
No, he
didn't.
No, he died. He died, but it was in the bathroom.
From pride and exposure. It's like, no, I do this all the time.
Oh my God. And then blew out his ass immediately after.
Getting ready to celebrate my 7th wedding anniversary.
Are you?
The 21st. Yeah, man. We're trying to figure out tonight where we're gonna go eat. And post-apocalyptic scenario.
Sure.
Where is a safe place to go eat? We're thinking about either somewhere on the water or maybe just keeping it local. Any recommendations? Where would you take your wife on her 7th anniversary, Zach?
I don't know. It depends, right? Like 7's not that big of a deal, right? Seven's like 10s and 15s are big deals, right? You know
what the average
number.
Do you know what average year people get divorced in America
3.
nowadays? Yeah. 7's a big deal.
No. But 7's a big deal if you're a quitter. It depends.
Lay it on me, Zach. Give me the life lessons. Here we go. These are today's sponsors are brought to you by Zach's Life Lessons. Listen to me and only me.
It depends on what you want, right? I don't know what kind of food you want. Are you guys going for Italian food? Like, what do you guys want?
I don't like Italian food. So,
you don't like Italian food?
No, we've been through this. This was like the second episode.
You say you don't like Olive Garden.
No, that was like the 5th episode. I don't like Olive Garden. I'm not really big on. I feel like people are gonna start coming for me once I go through this. It's like it's gonna sound.
You don't like chicken. You don't like wet chicken. Apparently, you don't like pasta. It wasn't you that said they didn't like mac and cheese.
No, that was me.
Okay, someone I know recently said they didn't like mac and cheese.
That's like saying you don't like reindeers. It's like the thought of them upsets me.
it's like I actually don't enjoy fun.
That's me.
I know. That was the joke. Yeah, I mean, it really depends. I don't know what you guys are looking for. If you guys tell me what you're looking for, I'll give you a spot.
Yeah, we gotta avoid anything that the baby's allergic to, which is dairy, tree nuts, and nightshades, all that type of stuff.
I don't know what a nightshade is.
So tomatoes, potatoes, and
anything fun. Oh my god. Yeah, I don't have anything for you. Good luck.
Disneyland.
I can avoid Disney. Six Flags.
You know what sounds good right now, buddy?
Go to Busch Gardens. What's up?
Oh, crepe. Nice crepe. Do you like crepes?
They're okay. They're a B tier breakfast food, in my opinion, though.
A B tier?
Yeah.
Man, you offended every Belgian person I know.
No, waffles are amazing. Crepes are French, I believe.
I don't like waffles all the time, but waffles with Nutella and strawberries, you can't lose, man.
I don't like Nutella.
What is happening tonight, man?
I'm just not interested. It's chocolate and fucking hazelnuts or some shit. It's just not an appealing flavor combination to me. Both of them separate from each other are okay, but Nutella itself is not, and it's twice the amount of fucking sugar as like regular jelly. So that's a big issue too.
I don't know why it just sounded like you were making a pitch for like the separatist party. Like, separate, good. Together, bad.
It's like, do you guys like peanut butter and jelly? No more. Toast with peanut butter, toast with jelly. You eat it like that and not at the same time. No,
they get on different buses. They go to different schools and different districts.
So waffles have the best potential to be the best breakfast food. Right, in the waffles pancake category, right, French toast category, waffles have the highest potential, where pancakes are the best average, in my opinion.
Do you like a softer waffle, with a nice crisp around the edges, or do you like a crispy in the middle waffle and softer towards the outer rim? Now, this is a real thing.
Actually, I think I prefer crispy kind of throughout.
Okay.
A true Belgian waffle, I believe, is pretty crispy throughout the entire thing.
Yes.
And that's how I prefer my waffles. So if you give a really good, what's the difference between a waffle and a pancake? Oil in the batter, right? Yes, that's literally the only difference.
And ridges.
And ridges, right? And ridges. Let's be fair. There are fucking ridges on a waffle. Yeah, if you a really well done waffle is the best breakfast food in that category. But I think a safer bet is always pancakes.
You know what, man? You can't go wrong with pancakes. There's a diner in California, Echo Park, called Bright Spot. Used to go there after work at the bar I work at. Okay. And pancakes were definitely the thing you needed in your stomach after you worked in a bar. Which, by the way, is a slippery slope, right? Like the first night you worked there, you're like, oh, I'll just have a Heineken, get through my shift. Man, there were nights when I left there, I was like, oh, I made it through the
night. Have you ever been to a Waffle House?
Yes. I nearly got shot outside of one.
Interesting. Actually, went to a Waffle House. They're actually not as bad as they look.
They are always in the worst neighborhood.
They're never in a good neighborhood. Let's just say that. It's like, but hold on. To be fair, it's in a better neighborhood than White Castle.
Oh, dude. I see. And here's the thing: you can't pin White Castle down to one racial demographic, right?
Nope. It's always just in a bad neighborhood. That's it. You find the Albanian, worst neighborhood.
Russian, black,
Hispanic, anyone.
It's always bad, dude. It's always
absolutely
bad.
But
you know what? Go for it. I'm sorry.
But if you've never had a White Castle, like actual, like legit go to a White Castle and had White Castle, that first experience is worth it. Everyone after that is not worth it.
Yeah, no, the second 2, 3, and the fourth, fifth time, never worth it.
If you eat there more than 5 times, you should probably worry.
But let me set you straight on a few things with White Castle in regards to a city kid's perspective, right? The one on 125th Street, extremely dangerous. Food is horrible. Don't do it. It's not worth the trip. Now, the one in Brooklyn, and I believe it's like Forest Green or something. I don't know, like Atlantic Avenue, some weird part of Brooklyn. Delicious. Danger level 10 plus. Like, I've been there twice, and the first time I went, I was like, I'm never coming back here. Went back a second time, I was like, it can't be as bad as the first time. Like,
right.
It was worse.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like we were in there and I was like, oh man, I'm going to die in White Castle at my bachelor party. This is how it ends.
I've been to the one in Yonkers.
Horrible.
Twice I've been to the one in, what do you think? Wait, what danger level is that? I think it's like a solid 6.
Yeah, Yonkers, I'm going 7+. It's definitely a 7+.
It's not in a good neighborhood. It is not in a good neighborhood, dude. I'm not even sure the road was paved that it was on.
Oh man, I'm trying to think. You know what the worst thing is when you go to first time I went to California, right? And people ask me about White Castle out there. They're like, "Oh, I've had the burgers in the supermarket before." And I'm like, "What? You eat those things? Don't?" I'm like, "No, that's dangerous." I'm like, "You should never eat anything prepackaged, or even if it says authentically made in White Castle and it was delivered from a White Castle. That's a bad look, man." Like I've seen the kitchen in White Castle, and I don't want to get sued, but.
It's not pretty. It's not exactly up to my safety standards.
I'm trying to think, man. Like, since we're talking about this, what are some other dangerous places? Not maybe dangerous
Church's
as in
chicken.
Bodily harm. Always dangerous.
But they're always good though.
Always very good. There was a Burger King on West 4th Street across the street from the basketball court. Dangerous to eat at and dangerous to visit. After I went there 1 o'clock to meet my brother, and I was like, oh man, this is bad.
I'm out.
Listen, I would never disparage the homeless population, but
they're there.
I'm pretty sure I've seen a hobgoblin. It was pretty dangerous. All right. We've talked enough craziness. Maybe we should do another episode because we need to follow up and end the debate. Yeah, we actually got a lot. We got some feedback on the fast food episode we did.
Did we?
Yeah, we got some feedback from some listeners, some people that I know that were listening to it. None of them agreed with any of our choices that we made, but I was like, hey,
what was the general consensus of what was the best? Apparently Cane's is like it.
Yeah.
I've never had a Cane's.
Some people got mad at us over our Arby's stuff. Like
Arby's is disgusting. Fuck those people.
They felt like we didn't give Arby's a fair shake.
Arby's is disgusting. It's vile. If you like Arby's, I don't like you. And with that being said, my own mother, her favorite fast food restaurant is Arby's. It's a Z tier fast food place at best.
I'm telling you, I'm going to take you to the one in North Hollywood, and your mind's going to be blown. You're not going to think this is a part of the Arby's chain. You walk in and they're like, "Hey, nice to see you again." I'm like, "Oh my god,
they remember me." I mean, if you're flying me out, I'll go. But other than that, I'm okay. Well, we don't want to go now. It's on fire right now.
Yeah, no, it's not going to be much left. Well, the fires are usually in the mountains and stuff. You stay in the middle, you should be okay.
Okay, all right. I should take that to note. Yeah, Arby's is disgusting. I don't care.
I don't.
There is no fast food place that I'd rather eat at less than an Arby's.
I don't like that they try to pretend to be a real sandwich spot. That's where you kind of start rubbing me the wrong way, where it's like we are the meats, and I'm like we it's like Subway. I know that meat is prepackaged,
fake,
and shaved from a baboon's ass every week.
Exactly.
It's disgusting. If you feel bad, if you feel that strong about it, I'll tell you where I live. We can talk about it in person.
Fight me. Actually, fight Steve. I can't be bothered.
Speaking of fighting, Zach, what'd you think of the fights this weekend, man?
Good card. I thought the main event was boring for the first 2 rounds. Very exciting for the last 3.
It was amazing.
It was the last 3 really swung me. It was a good fight after that. But the first round definitely was very boring. And then I picked up a little bit, but I don't agree with the decision. I don't think. I thought Angela Hill did enough to win, and I definitely don't agree with 4-1 Watterson. That was the worst, single worst, very very close to single worst judging decision I've ever seen.
Oh, come on, man!
Clearly not 4-1. Clearly not 4-1.
Listen, Angela Hill needs to learn to start putting her opponents away, man.
Literally,
put them away.
Yeah, isn't she tied like second for the most knockouts in that division though?
I think so. You know what? The first round was not competitive, in my opinion, at all. I thought Michelle Watterson came out and she wasn't as tentative as I thought she was going to be. I knew that Angela Hill was going to bring the fight to her. Sure. I think Angela Hill might have underestimated how scrappy Michelle Watterson actually is. Sure. I think she, after watching the Joanna fight, and then seeing her get outpaced by Cookie Carla Esparza of
Yeah, but you don't sleep on Carla Esparza, in my opinion.
No, you just outright disrespect her.
That's you.
Look, you got a thing for it. That's your cross to bear, man.
No, I just don't think you can sleep on her in a fight. I think she's actually fairly competitive.
I don't think she. Here's the thing. I'll say this about Carla Esparza. She will always go down in history as the first champion in that division. True. And she just happened to run into Joanna, and I don't think she was prepped. Not that she wasn't prepped. I don't think she knew what she was stepping into.
Sure.
With that fight. I don't know how that's possible because Joanna's got more real out there to watch than most female fighters. Like, you had to have known.
Yeah.
In my mind. But I feel bad for Angela Hill in this sense, right? So first round competitive, second round tide starts turning a little bit. The game plan starting to become more obvious. Michelle's happy to go in for the takedown. If she can't get it, she's coming with an uppercut, leg kick, body kick, teep kick. She started realizing that she can keep Angela Hill off of her with the kicks, and then with the kicking game really started coming, and then it just turned into an all-out fight. And Michelle Waterson was there. She was there for the whole fight. And then when she finally did secure that takedown, it showed that Angela Hill, her takedown defense has gotten better, but she still isn't able to work off of her back, which I think is vital. Even if you can't threaten a submission, you got to learn. You got to know how to be able to push out, use your guard to stifle someone from slipping in the half guard and stuff like that. And again, respected both elite fighters. So I definitely think that she had like 2 minutes of top control. And it wasn't like she was just laying on her. She was actively hitting her, moving forward. And I think that's where they might have gotten to 49-46. Third and fourth. Third went to Michelle Waterson, more of the same. Fourth round is where a little bit of the controversy comes to me because it started off really good for Michelle, but I think it slowed down in that round. And then the fifth round, for sure, I thought they were going to give to Angela Hill.
Sure.
But I can see why they gave it to Michelle, because I even think Angela Hill thought that late last-minute flourish she got, in a low-pace round, won it around. But Michelle was touching it. If they were actually scoring by point, then I get it. But hats off to both women, and hats off to Michelle Waterson. Now you got a problem, right?
She can't compete with the top three. That's the issue, right? Michelle's a great fighter. 15 through 5, right? And that top three in that division is the most competitive of any division potentially, right? With Zhang Weili and Rose and Joanna. There isn't really much for anyone else in that division at the moment, right? It's a very, very hard division to break into the top 5, B, to beat anybody in that top 3. You're going to have to, I don't know, That's a very incredibly fun and competitive division at the moment. That trio of people, any one of them could beat any other one.
Yeah, that was the dance in light heavyweight and the welterweight division for a while, and middleweight for a while. So you had light heavyweight, you had John, Daniel, and Gustafson. Sure. But here we go. Rumble came along, mixed up the division, but we're talking about an insane power puncher, which Michelle Waterson isn't.
But she just fought Joanna, and it wasn't competitive.
No, but I can see Angela Hill giving Joanna a better fight.
Sure.
I can see Angela Hill giving Joanna. I don't know if I have her beating her, and it would be one heck of a fight. Claudia Gadelha, I guess, is going to be the next fight for Michelle Waterson. It's the obvious match to make.
Sure.
Other than that, I don't know. It's log jammed at this point, right? So
what do you do? And at some point, it's going to slow that division down a bunch, right? Because no one's going to want to fight in 25 anymore in the women's division. It won't make any sense to fight in that division anymore, right? And there's not a is there a 15? Yeah, there is, right? No, because there's no it's 35, right? Yeah, you wouldn't want to fight in 35 either.
Yeah.
Shevchenko?
Oh, man. Nunez is gonna get beat, man. I feel bad about this buddy, man. Like I wanted to jump on the Nunez train because I think she's a great champion. I think she's a great ambassador for the sport. Sure. I think she's a great human being. I just know that she can be beat, man. I know that she can be beat, and the person who's gonna beat her is gonna be someone like Shevchenko, who can really just tie it all together technically.
I don't know why you make that word so much harder than it is. You throw an L in the beginning of her name. It's Shevchenko. Sleprock. Listen, the Bullet is one hell of a fighter, and I think that she can.
I honestly wouldn't mind watching them run it back for a third time because I actually think she won the second fight.
I do too.
Yeah. But in regards to poor Angela Hill, I think Claudia Gadelia said it the best. She's going to be upset for a few months over this one, dude. Like, you could see it in her face, man. And everything leading up to the fight, like, she just, she poked at Michelle. She's like, she's not here for a fight. She's a point fighter. She's a karate style fighter. She's not really built for this. And she came in and she outpointed her, and she stood toe to toe with her, dude. She didn't back off or run away.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even though that word is used so incorrectly when it comes to fighting. Are you calling it running away because they used some lateral movement and they decided to counter you? Like, is that running away? Do you know there's a person that actually wanted to have Holly Holmes suspended because she wouldn't stand and bang with Ronda? And I was like, get that person off the internet and make sure they never.
Who said that?
It was. I'm not even going to mention her name. He's the troll of trolls in MMA. I'll tell you off air, dude. But I'm not. I swear I'll never say his name on this show. Fucking loser. He's a loser.
Talking about Arrow Hawani, aren't you?
No, you leave the nose alone.
What do you mean? You're the one who hates him way more than I do.
I don't hate him. I just liked him better before I disliked his opinion.
That's a good point.
Let me ask you a question. I've been meaning to ask you this on a personal level outside of the show, but then I said, you know what, I'm going to ask him on the show. You are someone that knows a lot about the Scumpster, man, and he released did you happen to see his last cryptic tweet by any chance?
Scump?
Yeah.
No.
All right.
What was it about?
It was involved in a chain, something about, this is outside of my purview. I don't understand a lot of COD lingo, but something got changed, something got morphed, something got dwarfed, and he responded to it and he wasn't happy about it. And then he came back and said, not much long for the Scumpster or something like that. And he put 2 hourglasses on it. And then that kind of was making its rounds around the internet and people were thinking he was hinting at retiring. And I was like, man, I wonder if he's at that point where
he's made point for 3 games.
3 games he's been talking about retiring.
Yeah. Hex on 2 different occasions has had to stop him from retiring. So I'll put that out there. I'm looking back through his tweets. I don't see anything of this sort. There were some fake tweets going around for a while. Someone had made a spoof account of Seth's Twitter. So maybe that was it. I don't know.
I don't think that was. He might have pulled him down because our buddy over at Esports Gaming reported on it. And I was watching his segment on it. But Esports Gaming Talk.
You really have an awful memory for accuracy of names, man. Of a person who could remember fucking like songs off of albums and specific order of episodes of TV shows and things in movies that I would have never even noticed in the first place. I'm disappointed.
And a lot about Trojan history, Roman history. We
haven't even broke into that yet. And
sometimes I just regurgitate it at the table. I'm like, and 36 BC.
You really have a bad name or bad way for names of like actual.
I'm great with faces though. I am the perfect.
Me too.
I'm the perfect
their names.
I just can't remember his name, but I'll tell you this much: he looked like a tomato. That's for fair. Sure.
If you want to talk about Huntsman a little bit, actually, they've kind of a lot going on there.
What's going on, bud?
So they dropped Arcides and Pristini. Actually, I think if I remember correctly, I actually said that Arcides is the person that they should drop from their team. And Pristini, actually, literally, this is what I said. I was like, I think I should drop Arcides and Pristini and pick up Karma and make that team for next year because they're going into 4v4 instead of 5v5, right? So one person to lose their job regardless. And they were making a team, but they actually did that and then picked up Dashi, which I think is a good move. So we'll see how they go next year.
Nice. What are you thinking? If you in your professional opinion, how do you think?
We got to wait until roster mania is over, right? Once all the teams are set and settled, they're the first team to I think officially announce their roster for next season.
Okay.
We'll go over it once all the teams are announced again. But at this point, if they're the only team, I have no idea.
So take me through what's going on here with our very first official topic. What's going on there, man?
So the CDL announced super late last night or something that they're moving away from playing on console and moving to PCs and playing with a controller. That's huge. That's a really, really big deal in this community.
Now, what's any news on what spurred it on, or is this something that's been bubbling in the background for a while?
There's been rumors of this since before the CDL started, purely because with PCs, it's so much more customizable, right? You can up your FOV. You know, there's 144 hertz, 240 hertz, 360 hertz monitors. So, you know, you have a nice PC with a 240 hertz monitor like I have. You know, you get a slight advantage in a arcade shooter like COD is. I think they could control the servers a little bit better. Server hosting is much better on PC than it is on console, so you could have true dedicated servers even if the game doesn't have it, essentially. Right. There's a lot of things that you could do and customize on a PC that you cannot do on a console. So I think it's a big move in the correct direction. Now, the rumor is next year they're going to open up a keyboard and mouse, either Sister League or into the CDL, and I think that's a bad move.
Why is that?
It's Call of Duty's notoriously been a console competitive shooter forever. And I think if you take that controller away, you kind of take out the essence of what the true game is. And then, you know, you're going to have issues with, you know, current pros switching to keyboard and mouse. You know, will they be as competitive as, you know, they are on a controller? You know, it's hard, right? And then people like, you know, Shroud could make a team and be on a team and instantly be in the pro league because how big of a name he is and how good he is on a keyboard and mouse. So,
you know, I think I'm gonna go back and watch that Shroud versus Scum thing. That it's just actually just pretty fun to watch. That was probably one of the first things I've ever. I think you might have sent me and I watched. I was like, oh, that was pretty cool. That was pretty cool to watch.
Yeah, that was the show matches right in the beginning of the year for Modern Warfare, and I don't know why they brought everyone in. The keyboard and mouse versus controller, which, I mean, to be fair, you know, if Shroud had never played a Call of Duty game before and you're putting up against fucking Scump, is potentially the best pro ever, you know, it's not entirely fair, even if Shroud is incredible on a keyboard and mouse.
That was fairly competitive, way more competitive than I thought it was going to be. Sure. Maybe way more competitive than Scump thought it was going to be too.
Probably.
You know what, man? I'm looking at your face right now. You should probably do the Shroud thing. Kind of shave this part off right here, grow this out a little bit.
To you for fashion advice for sure.
Yeah, no, that's why I'm helping you. So you just shave this thing off right here. Just bring it down. Get the you know, the lumberjack hoof, I like to call it.
No, that is not happening whatsoever. That's the worst advice anyone's ever given anity. So,
listen to me, man. You have one of those old timey faces. You kind of look like you could be on $1 bill or something like that, man. I'm just telling you, just curl the mustache
I don't know how
right
to feel
here.
about those.
Get that going. You know what? I don't have much to say on this, but it's going to be interesting to see how the pros reacted. Have you heard any buzzing and what people are thinking about this shit?
I think a lot of the pros think it's a good idea. Really, yeah. You know, I go to the tweet, right, because I see it. I'm laying in bed scrolling through Twitter, right, doing whatever, and I see this tweet. I'm like, oh, this is a good idea. So I open up the thread of tweets, and there are so many absolute morons in the world, and they all congregated around this one tweet. It was absurd. Absolutely. So many people going, well, I don't want to have to buy $1,000 PC to run COD on low to try to be a pro. Like, that doesn't seem fair. And I'm like, wow, you don't know anything about computers. And the other guy's like, man, you're going to have such a good anti-cheat so the pros don't cheat. And I'm like, no, that's not how that's going to work either. Okay. It was just a cesspool of, I don't even know, man. Cesspool of fuck. That's all it was. You know, no. That's it, man. It was dumb. It was a bunch of fucking morons, man.
But don't disparage the F-bomb, man. There's so many beautiful things that are associated with that action. Don't waste it on stupid people. Let's see if we can find more. I'm tired of stupid people.
But it was so dumb. It was like if
come on, say it.
It was like if Donald Trump fucked George W. Bush and they had a child. And it had that orange skin with that fucked up hair and the southern accent. And it was there talking about terrorism and fucking
and nightworms.
Yeah. Like dude, it's bad. It was just you guys need help.
You know what?
That's all I have to say.
This is something you'll never be into, man. But man, I just wish I can get you up into some of these Star Wars forums, man. Not to participate. No, just hear me out. Just hear me out. You want to see some real F-boy behavior? You gotta go into this. Oh, even better, if I can get you into some of those old school MMA community chat boards. I'm just like,
what do you mean wrestling does nothing?
Oh man, the Just Believe fans. You know what though, man? I think this is kind of cool, man. I mean, you've educated me a lot on the server issue and the latency and stuff like that. So I think this is gonna be a good move. Let me ask you a question though. Do you think people are still gonna be able to use their customizable controllers and stuff like that? I know that Steam supports the PS4 controller. Will they? Is that
software to support PS4 controllers?
And you can just they can't use their back paddles and stuff. They have to play standard controllers in the tournament, right?
You know, there's a decent chance that they have to use approved controllers. So like a 360 controller is approved. So if you want to go back and use an Xbox 360 controller, you could essentially do that. You can use any approved controller. So if Scuff has an approved controller, sure, you can use a Scuff controller, right? Scuff will put out a driver for their controller to make it emulate an Xbox 360 controller or an Xbox One controller. I'm sure they'll find a way to make it happen, right? It's a fairly large company, and I think you can buy Scuffs for PC at this point too. So it's not going to matter. They'll have it worked out, I'm sure. I don't know. I don't know what the ultimate at the end of it's going to be. We're gonna have to find out.
Yeah, you don't sound like you have much confidence in this. Like, maybe it's just thinking. I'm getting that vibe that you give me sometimes. You're like this.
There's just so little information about it that I can't even assume what they're gonna do next. Right? Like, it would be dumb to assume what they're gonna do next. I'm trying to pull up the article. Let's see. Yeah, dedicated. Yeah. It doesn't matter. So, the LAN events are going to be played. Players may plug in their league approved controller, and I'm sure they're not going to make it public on which controllers are league approved and all this shit. So,
if you can get me in on that Twitter thread, though, I would love to read some of the comments about the PC stuff, because that stuff's always great to see how people react to that. I would like to be in one Twitter thread in particular, man. And
there you go. I added you in the thread. Good luck.
Oh God, thank you so much. That'll be the rest of my evening, just reading that. So you and I like to think that we're two reasonable guys, that we try to approach things from a very pragmatic way. Sometimes
we attempt to, for sure.
It
doesn't always end up at the end.
I mean, who doesn't get passionate about stuff? And you're just like, what the hell would reason? I'm going with my gut. I'm gonna feel my way through this argument right now. I gotta say, man, I'm gonna defer to you because I'm really interested in your opinion. So Ed Harmon has been a staple in mixed martial arts for years, Zach. For years, since his appearance on The Ultimate Fighter.
I think his name is Herman, not Harmon.
Yeah, this guy has been a monster on the local scene. Let me just give you some of his credentials. He is a legit wrestler, right? His Roman Greco is amazing.
That's not a credential. That's an opinion.
No. It's a credential.
A credential is like he's an Olympian. That's a credential. He's a legit wrestler. That's an opinion.
No. Collegiate level wrestler.
That is a he
is a real black belt under a real black belt jiu-jitsu teacher. Okay. He has been doing this long enough where I can say that he is quite possibly someone who's fought on the local scene and dominated. I think he just won a fight over in Russia against one of their contenders as well. Let me tell you, when he was on The Ultimate Fighter with Michael Bisping, which was pretty interesting to see them reunited in that way, he was the standout fighter his season. Definitely picked pick number one. Didn't have a great career in the UFC. I was blasted with a wave of nostalgia when I saw his name on the schedule for this fight. And I was like, good for him, man. I know they called him last minute. I know he probably needs the money for this fight, but any guy like him and that's still fighting, he's going to take this. He's going up against Mike Rodriguez, man, and that fight was going down the exact same way I thought it was going to go. I'm like, Rodriguez is going to show him some respect, because he was actually fanboying out, and who wouldn't, man? You're seeing a guy that you watched in high school who's still around fighting and who's still quite competitive. fight was going great for Rodriguez, and I even thought Ed looked good at certain points in the first round. Man, he stood up. He stood up against a lot of brutality coming into it. We're going to talk about the controversial knee that hit. Now, let me ask you a question. Was there a moment where you thought it was on below the belt line or a throwing shot?
Even in motion, like as it was happening, I'm like, wow, that was a good knee to the stomach. And he dropped from it. Okay, TKO. Literally, yeah. I even texted you immediately after it happened. And like he did the pause. I'm like, that was a knee to the stomach, like 100%.
What is your understanding of the UFC's instant replay rule?
If it goes to instant replay, the fight's over, right? And then does it go to So I think in this situation, Rodriguez would have been rewarded the win. If it was a low blow, it would have either went to a no contest or an Ed Herman victory.
So let me ask you a question. What is your understanding of when they use it? Like what constitutes it? Who comes in and says we have to pull an instant replay on this? Who has the power?
Is it the ref? I have no idea.
I believe it's the ref, and I believe there's also a commissioner. You've probably heard his name a couple of times at a few fights. He gets on the mic every once in a while at the UFC event to clear up the air on these things. He'll say, "No, Dan, you know what I'm talking about." Yeah. That one guy that comes out of nowhere. He's like, "No, Daniel, this is how it goes."
Yeah.
They didn't even. They consulted him in between the break. The way it was described was like, no, it has to be done for a fight-ending sequence where there's controversy. And when they said that, I was like, hold on for a second. This
he was out. He was out to TKO, right?
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So he was out to TKO. Rodriguez was on top. He was hitting him from the top, and when the ref stepped in,
right? And said timeout, and Mike Rodriguez was like, "What do you mean timeout?"
Right, exactly.
Backed him off for the full 5 minutes. Were you mad at Ed for taking the full 5 and soaking it out? No.
Listen, if you're a fighter and you get that 5-minute break, I respect you utilizing all of it because then it becomes part of the game plan, right?
Right.
Most people are going to see that as a bitch move or this or that. Man, I don't.
In this context, knowing what you know that man did not get kneed in the balls.
Take it.
How do you take the phone?
Take your time, man. Take your time. I'm not going to stop you. Take your time.
So it's funny because right when he came back from that, the fight nearly was ended again. And it was funny to hear Daniel recap it. He was like, and the ref still didn't call the fight. And then poor Mike got, and this is, you can't be mad at Ed for this, right?
It was an incredible reversal too.
Yeah, he saw it, used it to reverse the position. Which is typically how people use that, and then you'll see the other guy, twist out of it and then jump back.
He was up against the cage. He couldn't. Yeah. He tried to. He actually he tried to spin out of it and roll. He actually tried to roll over, which I think is probably the correct way to do it because your arm is flat. Then, right? If you roll to your back, then your arm would be flat, and you would have to then force the Kimura back again. He did and rolled into the cage, so he attempted to roll out of it for sure. Got
tapped like a can of Pringles. Much respect to him. It's funny because
held into it for a long time too.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna snap, and it's like, worst one I've ever seen was Frank Mir against one of the Nog brothers, and he broke it. Like he's you're not gonna tap, crack, and the referee called it. Mike lost. Ed got the victory. They spoke to Ed afterwards. Michael Bisping will go down in infamy for saying this. It's not Ed's fault, right? He's like, Ed isn't the one that he didn't miscall it. He didn't. It's all on the referee. Of course, I was waiting for Dana's recap on this, and actually, Dana has grown over the years, man. It was not as fiery as
it's 3 times the size of what it used to be.
It's not, they're definitely going to re-sign him, but I'll make a case for that on Friday's episode.
Dana White?
Yeah, they're definitely re-signing him. Like in this, they have to. At this point, he might be the only way that company keeps going forward. If not, UFC will dwindle down into the Bellator.
UFC needs him. So,
but Dana actually didn't come after the referee. The way I thought he would. He was like, you know what? It was a bad call. People make mistakes. It was horrible. It was absolutely horrible. But usually Dana's like, he's an idiot, and his kids are idiots. His wife's an idiot for making kids with that idiot. And he's just like, no. He's like, no, it is what it is. We're gonna pay, and he paid the kid out, man. Give him the show money and the bonus money, man. But this is one thing that I would really like to see kind of tightened up when it comes to MMA, and I know the UFC can kind of pioneer it, but this has to do more with the commission. So they have to sit down and start asking themselves, like, hey, are we going to start doing things to actually make this a sport and to make it make sense? Because it's one thing to say you can implement a replay. It's another thing to say, hey, if the corner wants to dispute something, they should be able to appeal to the referee. Like, no, I want to replay on that.
What's going to happen with this, though, is they're going to appeal to the athletic commission. The athletic commission is going to go back and look at that, and then it's going to be moved to a no contest, right? Like that's legitimately actually what's going to happen. But no, so the replay is weird because a fight can't be ongoing. Like, oh, we just had a sequence 45 seconds ago. Let's go to the replay, right? And they're like, oh, actually, he needs to be put back in this spot on top. You can't do that, right? So I understand why the replay is the way that it is. But do you remember? You probably don't remember, but do you remember how baseball implemented replay?
Hold on for a second. Before we go to the baseball replay, you can actually, there's a precedent to set two fighters back into a position. So if something happens, an illegal up kick, say for instance, or you grab someone's trunk, or they catch you putting your hand in someone's glove and you reverse the position and the ref catches you, he's going to put you back down.
That's instant, right? You can't be, because how long is the replay going to take realistically? 30 seconds, 15, 30 seconds. And we're now back on our feet on the other side of the cage and Mike Rodriguez is getting hit in the face, right? You can't go, oh, actually, by the way, stop.
No,
right?
no,
you're not even going to be able to communicate that to the ref.
Well, hold on for a second. No. This is what I'm talking about. In this particular context, in this instance, the referee peels Mike off of Ed, right? Ed's on the ground. He's saying that he got kneed, and Mike is saying that, like, I was about to TKO this guy. So, hold on for a second. There should be someone that should be able to insert themselves in that moment if you have replay and say no and dispute it. This is not an illegal blow, because that's too critical in a fight. And it's not good enough to say, and I'm not saying that you're saying that. It's not good enough to say, well, hey, things happen. Like, no, you cost someone something. You cost someone the position and opportunity
for sure.
But go ahead. Give me the baseball thing.
Hold on, but I don't know how even in that. Like, actually, you didn't get kneed in the balls. He's back on top, but then you already got 25, 30 seconds of recovery, right? You know, he might have been out on his feet and now he's recovered a little bit, and it's going to be, you know, it's there is no right answer to this because it is fighting and because it is, you know, moving so fast at any given moment. I don't think you could put him back on top there. I just don't think after 45 seconds or whatever it is, whatever it's going to be, 30 seconds, and you got to communicate to the ref, so someone's got to come into the ring and talk to the ref. Like, there's so many different factors as to why replay doesn't make a difference. Like, it makes it hard.
And this is the thing that about the fluidness when it comes to mixed martial arts and most combative sports, especially with refs, man. At least they're not as bad as boxing refs. In that instance, like, I've seen, like, you know exactly what I meant, and I said what I said.
You're right. You're 100% right. I agree.
And I mean it. You know, you can give Herb Dean all the crap you want. He's made some bad calls in his career, and he's owned up to 2 of them out of the 26 bad calls he's made. But at least Herb will have the balls to say after the fight, you know what, that was messed up.
Sure.
I did not. He's like, you know, I did not get that one right. I'm not expecting anything from this ref. I also just want them to be able to take a look at it. Even if the thing I'm saying doesn't work, please just take a look at it and figure out a better way to not let this type of stuff happen again. Also, while we're at it, I have a few more requests. Let's try to figure out the eye poke thing, right? We have the technology. We can make gloves that are better than this.
They've been talking about it for years, right? So do you want gloves that force your hands down a little bit? I think Bellator might have those. So you can't.
Richard Evans came up with a patent. Did you see his gloves?
Yeah. I think he talked about it on Rogan. You can't stick your fingers out straight. Yeah. I mean, does that hinder grappling though? I'm not sure. You know, a little bit. Sure. You know, and you know, you kind of want everything to be as true as it possibly could be. Yeah. So, you know, the eye poke thing, as horrible and egregious as it is, you know, what's the better solution, right?
Eye pokes with your toes. Megan Anderson is the GOAT.
She beat Kat Zingano like that? For Kat Zingano's last fight in the UFC, was it? I don't know.
But tell me about the baseball thing. How did they institute that? Give me the.
So you're allowed one replay per game per coach.
Okay.
Right, that's how they did it, and I think it's different now. And man, there were some weird rules about it too. I wonder if I could look it up. But
was it like one of those things where you had to like initiate it? Because I remember football had some weirdness with this too, with the instant replay. It was like
so the football has had it for a long time, where each side gets 3, and if it gets overturned, you get to keep it. I don't fucking remember how it works. Football, oh my God, I hate football on so many different occasions. It's actually going on right now, right?
I think so. The football. You're talking about soccer, right? I love soccer.
Soccer's a better sport than American football. It just is. It just is. Instant replay in Major League Baseball.
Yeah, but you know what? You don't get in the American football? You don't get the flopping. Come on, you got to admit the flopping in soccer. Men's soccer, especially.
Men's soccer, not women's soccer.
Yeah, those women are going after it, man. They don't even flop. They're like, tape the knee up. I'll get back out there and I'll play. You step on a guy's foot on the field in soccer, and that's the career. It's over. It's over. What?
I'm trying to read the official the debut. I don't know. It was just I remember it being a huge and like controversial topic, 15 years ago, whatever it was, 12 years ago. Because it's it was used a bunch of times, and there's only X amount of times ever been overturned, and like I don't know. The baseball it's very similar to the baseball instant replay thing, where there's so many rules around what can or can't be you instant replay used for. It's absurd. So fighting is different though. Fighting is how much movement in 10 seconds can you have in fighting, that you have to reverse that. And I don't know, there's a lot. I'm not the correct person to answer what the right use of instant replay in fighting is, but so it definitely has to be during a break. This would have been a good example of it, right? It has to be during a break. The DC eye poke thing, right?
Oh man, yeah.
If someone calls for instant replay, how do you communicate that in the middle of the fight? Is where I'm going with it, right? If DC gets eye poked by Stipe, and who was the ref? Mark Goddard waves it off and is like, no, you didn't. I saw it. It was a punch, right?
That was good. You got punched in the eye, Daniel. Sit down.
Sit down, buddy. How do you in that moment use the instant replay and then communicate it to the ref and then have the ref stop the fight and then go, actually, you did poke him in the eye. Do you want your time now? Right.
See, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. We're sitting on the outside looking in. How do you make it work and keep the fluidity of the fight going without slowing down the pacing? But the fact of the matter is, and this is where I know you can't do this, but you have so many people monitoring the fight at a live event, right? You have everyone from the team in the truck to the people who are watching security to those weird judges who have their own little TVs right then and there. And I'm saying that
their own fucking reality too, apparently.
Yeah. That's just like, what? Like, you're not even watching the fight sometimes. There's got to be a way to say, when you see that controversial moment, it's like, and the ref can go, hey, Zach, what did you see? And there's a guy over there like, it was an eye poke. Now, here's
the issue, though. Then now you're taking the ref's eyes off of the fight. Right?
No. I'm saying, like, hear me out. Not in the middle of the fight. I'm talking about in breaks. Like, say, for instance, if we're going into context of the DC. Yeah, like the DC thing. When DC sat on this thing and he's disputing it, what if the ref, just hear me out. Mm-hmm. Just hear me out for a second. What if the ref had someone to say, hey, by the way, Mark, it was an eye poke? But then what becomes the consequence for that, right? Because DC had just poked Stipe earlier. Sure. Do you take a point? Is a stern warning? Does that end the fight right there? Because then he has to come over. He has to bring the doctor in. DC, can you see? Obviously, a guy
right? So it ends the fight, right? And that, I believe, becomes DC. No, does it go to scorecards there? Or does it because DC can't fight anymore, DC wins?
Yeah, no. So it goes, so DC can't fight anymore. They go to the scorecards to see who's winning the fight at that point.
But so why was it different than the illegal knee that John hit on Anthony Smith, where Anthony Smith said, if would this be a win if I take this? Do you remember this?
Yeah. They're talking about the fight. No. So
but why? No. So he asked, would it be a win? And the ref said yes. So he said, I don't want to take. I could fight. Do you remember this? Right. So why is it different there versus the eye poke?
Because a grounded opponent who gets kneed is nearly KO'd. Someone who gets poked in the eye, the doctor comes in and asks you, can you see? Someone who gets kneed. Couldn't,
right? So him being almost unconscious versus DC not being able to see out of his left eye, why is that different?
So now we're talking about severity. So if the doctor comes in and does the examination and it determines after he looks into your eye, like, oh, the eye's responding correctly, but then asks you, can you see? And you say yes, you can go back out and fight. Anthony Smith, by all rights, was nearly knocked out by that knee. Okay. If the ref wanted to, it's at his discretion. He could have waved it off. I get the point that you're making, but it's the same thing. They can run instant replay on that, and even if it's John Jones or not, Anthony makes the decision in that moment. Do you want to continue fighting?
But it wasn't a legal knee. That's not a question about replay there, right? It's a question about whether or not it goes to a judge's scorecard, or if it goes to the person who can't fight any longer.
Because the reason it didn't go to a judge's scorecard is because he could fight on.
Well, no, he said he could. He said he could.
Yeah,
right? But I'm saying if he said he couldn't, it wouldn't have went to a judge's scorecard. He literally asked the ref, if I say I can't fight, do I get the win? And he said yes. So then he said I can fight, right? So that means the fight goes on.
Because it's a disqualification for hitting a person. It's not
okay. Okay, here's the real question: why isn't an eye poke a DQ versus a grounded opponent? Right. So now we're getting to the real question.
You can actually get disqualified for eye poking, but it has to be continuous. So if that's determined by the referee. How many times was he poked in the eye in the fight?
I don't know, once or twice for sure.
So how many times does it take a referee to warn you about something before you lose a point?
Up to their discretion.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? For me, it's an eye poke first eye poke is a point, right? I believe that's how it should be. These guys are the best fighters in the world, right? DC is arguably one of the top 3 best fighters to ever be in the UFC, and Stipe is maybe the best heavyweight to ever be in the UFC, right? Like, these guys are the best of the best.
He's definitely the best in his era for sure.
Stipe?
Yeah.
Okay. That doesn't delegitimize the point, right? It's the point is, these guys are the best of the best. There should be no eye pokes, right? Same thing with John. John's notorious for fucking poking people in the eye, right? Right. He should not. He's potentially the best fighter to ever be in the UFC. He should not be poking people in the eyes. He knows better than that.
Right? Oh no, his eye pokes are 100% intentional. I can show you.
No, I know, because there's no way you don't fight like this. Like,
I fight like that all the time, dude.
Right, but you're not a professional fighter. People aren't saying that Steven is the greatest fighter to ever live.
Hold on for a second. Why am I arguing this point with you? You think up kicks should be legal?
Up kicks are legal.
No. Up kicks to a standing opponent are legal. Okay. Up kicks to a grounded opponent.
That wasn't an up kick though. That was a push kick at best.
Zach, I'm gonna say this one more time. If your knee is down and you kick,
but look at the transition that was there, right? She didn't look at her and go, "Oh, she's down. Let me kick her." It was. She was coming back, and Angela Hill was pushing her off of her, right?
You probably think groin strikes should be legal too, don't you?
No, you're arguing this so unfairly. You can't look at this and go, okay, I could have made that mistake as well. No, of course you're not, right? You're sitting there plugging your headset in, with your goofy haircut, just fucking looking.
I'm sorry. Did you say my goofy haircut?
Yeah, your goofy ass haircut.
Listen to me. You literally look like you crawled off of a milk carton and are wanted in most states for kidnapping children right now. With
that's a good point. Because I don't have children that I can't prove are mine.
So listen, the whole transition and kick thing. So that's the same. You're making the same point where it's like, should a professional fighter know when they can't throw a push or up kick to the face?
Sure. Did she hit her in the face? Right.
Yeah, she caught her in the mouth. Dead in the mouth.
Good. Should have knocked her out.
She caught her dead in the mouth, dude.
Yeah, I see. For me, it's I don't know, man. See, for me, like up kicks, we've seen up kick knockouts that are fun, right? But we also see what the fuck is his name? Dan Hardy, who did an illegal nail down opponent. That's different. Right, because that was intentional. I don't believe the Angela Hill, push kick or whatever it was intentional. Right? She didn't. She didn't look at her and go, "Oh, she's down opponent. Let me take this opportunity to fucking knee her in the mouth." Right? It was a. Oh shit! You're really swaying me there, Steve. Back to the actual question though. Why wouldn't the eye poke? Why would the eye poke go to a judge's scorecard versus an automatic DQ, right? Because he's can't see anymore, and that's where we are.
Yeah, it's funny the thing that happened to DC though. Interesting.
Is
because
it funny?
DC,
I thought it was pretty funny. Fat son of a fucking.
Man, you should really talk to someone about the venom that lives inside your heart, man.
I played Call of Duty the other day. It makes sense.
Oh, what did you? Why'd you do that? What's wrong with you?
I'm bored. I'm looking for a fucking shooter, dude. There's nothing to play. I'm having to go through everything.
So, but here's the thing that sucks about the whole scenario, right? Whole scenario, because we're arguing about fighter safety and we want to see the sport evolve. I definitely think eye poke should be first offense, lose a point. I also think the first time you punch someone at the bell or after, Aldo punching Chad Mendes will go down in infamy as one of the worst late punches ever. Also, Jermaine Duranamy versus Holly Holmes.
Twice, right?
Twice in the same fight, bro. And so, I mean, as much fun as we're having talking back and forth about this, so it's DC poked Stipe in the eye. That should have been a point right there, right? Stipe pokes DC in the eye. That's a point. I don't think that you give people warnings for these type of things.
I don't either.
The thing that happened with Diego Sanchez, the knee, right? Okay, so that knee wasn't as bad. It was pretty bad. But Diego knew that he was going to take, he was walking home with the win of the fight.
Right. Why does that go to? I don't understand the difference of like if DC literally can't see anymore, right? DC literally could not see out of his eye. It took weeks for it to heal, right?
Yeah.
Why does that go to a judge's scorecard versus an illegal knee go to an automatic win because it's a disqualification? I totally get that, but I don't know why an eye poke isn't a DQ at some extent either.
I honestly think it should be. I'm going to ask the guys from Atlantic Fighting Sport why it isn't. I want to know what the stipulation is on there. But all these things should be instant point. There are a few other things, though, where I agree with Herb Dean. Herb Dean gave a great interview before they changed the whole 3-point standing rule with the grounded opponent for a knee. Some states, depending on the fight. But when you're playing the game, then you're putting yourself at risk. So you have me up against the fence, right?
Yeah.
And I'm pulling my hand up and down so I don't get kneed. That's BS, right? Now you're really impacting the flow of the fight.
Yeah, but now you're advocating for kneeing a down opponent. So now they've
actually gotten rid of it depending on when you're going to fight. Some people accept the new rules and some people don't. So now
the unified rules versus the non-unified rules, right? So you're looking at different states and different athletic commissions. I think the UFC should be ruled under one athletic commission, and then the athletic commissions in that state have to abide by that rule. It would make everything a little bit more easy. It would make it easier to ref, I'm sure, right? But they don't.
Man, we can go on about this forever. That is something I want to look into. The last thing I would love to see them change in MMA in regards to the refereeing, man, is I know there are secondary refs there that are just kind of patrolling the perimeter. I would definitely like to see a consult ref in some way, shape, or form. I've been trying to mull this over in my head for years, how they would utilize that second guy. But I can't lock it down. I can't make it make sense.
Dude, it's the same thing where it's like other sports, you could pause the action for 30 seconds and have it be, the same flow. Right. But if you're like Masvidal is throwing a 3-punch combo that ends with a fucking leg kick, you can't grab his leg and be like, hold on, wait a second. Actually, the ruling was right. You can't do that. Fighting is a much more, I don't know, fluid or something like football. You could pause for fucking years and no one's going to know a difference because there's commercial breaks and fucking, penalties and appeals and like. So, I don't know.
No, I get what you're saying. I 100% get what you're saying, and I'm not in total disagreement. I think there are some things where the fundamental of fighting that are just, easy to call, right?
Sure.
Leg kicks, oblique kicks, good. Foot stomps, apparently good. I don't know. I don't like to see them, but
legal,
they're good.
Right? They're legal.
Totally legal. Elbow to the side, to the ear, good. You know what I'm saying? Elbow to the back of the head, not good.
Yeah.
And if that person goes
where does the ear stop and back of the head start?
So you're good. You're like good right above here,
right to the hairline, almost, right?
Yeah, like here.
Right.
That's my favorite. That's my favorite thing when a fighter throws a punch and accidentally knocks someone out. You weren't aiming for that part of the head. They're like, yeah. So I've been training that with my coach. We've been really focusing.
My goal really is to hit him and pinch the top of his ear against his own head and see how much he likes that. Yeah. I don't know, man. There's so many different things and ways to look at it. It's hard, especially hard. It's hard with fighting. A fucking ref in the UFC is something that I would never want to be. Right? It is damned if you do, damned if you don't. It's so hard.
Oh man, but there have been some bad ones. And what is this guy's name? Used to go like this, the Japanese guy. This dude would damn near let people get killed in the octagon.
Yeah. I know who you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about. He's like the most hated referee in all of MMA history.
Yeah, he was like, he's like, I give the fighters a chance to be their own fighter, and I'm like, they can't speak anymore, man.
I want to give everyone a chance to really express themselves in the octagon. Like, he was pretty much dead, and you allowed him to get hit 3 more times. Last thing I want to talk to you about, that video you sent me of Canelo with the head movement, that's like every boxing coach's dream. I just want to let you know that it looks like something that's really simple, right? So there's a drill you do which with boxing. Yeah, you know exactly what I'm talking about, and you're rolling the shoulder and going down. I remember the very first time I did that at a gym, looked horrible. Yeah, horrible, because you don't realize it. Yeah,
that motion is not a natural motion, right? It's only a motion you use when you're getting punched at. And you know, if you're a normal person, it's not happening often.
I got to tell you, man, though, as much as you and I argue about certain things, we're in agreement about this thing, man. Canelo was a better fighter after Floyd. You can't deny it. We'll debate you on the show at your mother's house after she cooks us a nice pasta dinner for Zach. I don't like pasta. I'll take something else if you got it.
So strange. How do you not like pasta?
No, I do like pasta. Santana's gonna hit her. She's gonna flip out. She's like, "You've been eating pasta you don't like for years."
Oh man, yeah. Go for it. We agree on a lot of things, man. We definitely agree on a lot of things, and we do agree that we need an announcement for the PlayStation 5 price at this point, right?
Are you gonna watch?
I watch highlights of these things. I'm not sure when they come on or if I'm even interested in watching. But I'll watch a highlight, and I'll watch enough to be able to speak about it on the show, right? Right. But that's about it. You know, if we don't get an announcement with this PS5 showcase, I write the PS5 off entirely. You know, either something is going to be going wrong, something's bad, so something is wrong with the console that they're getting as much time as possible. There was a leaked image of prices, and I don't remember what it is off the top of my head, but it was competitive with the Xbox. The console wars don't matter anymore, right? This is really, this generation is this shouldn't even be a console war anymore. Every single fucking thing is cross-platform now. Like, it just doesn't matter anymore, man. Buy the one that you want to buy the one that you think looks better, one that'll fit your aesthetic in your living room better, whatever it is, right? Have fun with your fucking console, and then when you're done with that, come buy a PC and let me play you in some video games.
You just couldn't let the people have their fun.
I told them to have their fun, didn't I? I said it, and then I'll then christen them on a PC, man.
You literally had to stop yourself from saying, and when you're ready to be a big boy, buy a PC. It was like on your way out. Like, I could see you pull it back in. No, you know what? I understand what you're saying, man. Like, we're at the point now where everything is cross-platform. It definitely is preference. It
doesn't matter anymore.
You can't argue specs though. So the Xbox is spec-wise the better console.
I agree.
So for all the PlayStation diehards, you just got to admit that
it was the same. It was the same last generation and the generation before that. So just fucking get used to it. Your PlayStation exclusives are better. You know, if I were to buy a console, it would be a PlayStation. I've owned every one since the PS2. So. I don't know, man.
Just go with your branding. I'm gonna watch I always watch the entire event over right before I go to bed, and that's usually within the last 5 minutes of whatever 3-hour long pitch or drone. Dude, when they were going through the college level schematic breakdown of the PlayStation, that last one, I made it through an hour and a half. I was like, yeah, okay, I'm done. Like, once they start breaking out the pointers and stuff, like, I'm out of here. But Zach is absolutely right, man. You buy the one you like, but if we don't get a price on this thing, I'm not ready to write it off because I still need something to talk about on the show. But from this point, everything I say will be negative.
I'll also talk about it. Yeah,
it's gonna be so toxic. We're gonna lose all 5 of our fans on Anchor. All right, and I don't want to lose you guys because you guys are powering our whole thing right, and my lights are on because you're supporting us on Anchor. But I also hope we get to see something.
Well, am I not getting any of this money?
It was a bad edit. Can we take that part out?
I was waiting for you to get up and run out of your chair.
Jeff, you gonna take it out later?
Oh, it's Jeff now.
Here's one thing, right? I know I'm not gonna get it. I always check Santa Monica Studios. I always see if there's anything coming up for God of War. There's nothing. There's nothing buzzing. I'm just hoping maybe they give me a slither or something that says
you'll get something at this conference from what I've heard.
What, for God of War?
I think so. Yeah. For there is a flagship IP that is being produced that no one knows anything about yet. I've heard from a few different people, and it's assumed to be God of War.
It really is the one thing that I think some people buy PlayStation for. I know for a fact that I wasn't even going to buy a console like when the 4 was coming out. I wasn't really giving real thought to it, and Santana got it for me because I wanted to play God of War. And I love you, babe. Thank you very much. That's all I got to say about this. Now, here's something that I don't think either one of us have much to say about, but we just want to acknowledge it publicly. Baldur's Gate, man.
I'm playing it. I'm playing it. I already told you that.
Give it to me, man. Like, I played Baldur's Gate a ways back, man, and I had a lot of fun the first time I played it.
Sure.
I'm not gonna play it this time around, Zach. You know I don't have time for 2 video games at the same time. I can't do it. But I'm gonna look for
my fucking Tony Hawk yet. I'm pissed.
No, I got it.
I'm sitting here honing my skills.
Why are you so angry, buddy?
Literally everyone was like, yeah, you know, we're gonna get Tony Hawk, we're all gonna play together, and I'm the only person who fucking bought it. I'm literally the only person out of the 6 people that I've talked to about it that got the fucking game.
You're like, the 6 people that I actually talked to about things all lied to me. But you know what? You look the best in the flannel of all 6 of us, dude. No one can deny that.
That doesn't mean anything to me. I don't care.
It does. It should mean something to you, man. But you're gonna play Baldur's Gate, man. Are you gonna stream it, or are you just gonna play it for purse?
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how I feel. The issue with Baldur's Gate is I'm gonna play with a group of people who only play from 9 p.m. to midnight or something, right? So I'm gonna get 3 hours twice a week of the game, and I'm gonna get, you know, we'll finish it by 2025 or something. So you know, how much content is there really gonna be?
You ever think about hosting your own late night Angry Man show?
I could. It'd be fun. I have the voice for it.
The grind my gears segment, but like your own branding of that. It would be pretty amazing. I'm not gonna play the game with you, man. You and I both know that I can't do it. But I've been watching a lot of the 3D what do you call it? The cinematics for the game. It's just like, man, I would. This is another game that I would much rather watch a movie about. Does that make me a bad person? Like, I would much rather watch.
So I mean, this one is directly based off of Dungeons and Dragons, right? It always has been, but this one's based directly off of D&D 5e, right? The current edition, and it's made by the people who have made Divinity Original Sin. I don't know if you've ever played the game or not, no. or even heard of it. So we've been playing it a little bit, and the combat system is really good. It plays really well into what the lore behind the game is. So it's pretty exciting. It's going to be fun. It's a turn-based RPG. They're always fun, right? Like, a lot of turn-based RPGs are incredible. I'm a huge fan of Civ, so it's going to be good.
Dude, why are you playing COD, man? That's like a heroin addict going back to heroin after he's been doing so well off of heroin. Like, your mood was better. Your outlook on life was better.
Listen, I didn't play it very seriously. I played with a group of people that we were all playing against each other. We weren't playing actual multiplayer, because actual multiplayer is actually AIDS in the game. I'm looking for a shooter, man. I keep telling you, I'm looking for a shooter. I can't find one that's even remotely decent at the moment or has a player base, right? So and really what I'm looking for is a respawn shooter, and those are even more few and far between than your standard tactical or one life shooter. It's just, at the moment, there's nothing for me to play, so I went back. Not that I won't play it by myself. There's no way that I'll like, after this is all done, I'm gonna fucking log into Call of Duty to play. There's no reason to. The game is garbage, but you know, it's something to do, I guess.
Oh man, why don't you go play Destiny, dude?
But Destiny's not a PvP respawn shooter. You know, there is that aspect of it, but the main game isn't that. You know, there is nothing out at the moment that will, you know, satisfy my want. There really is. I could go play Battlefield 5, but I didn't enjoy the game when I played it originally, so I just didn't think it was a great Battlefield game. So I mean, there's just no good respawn shooter out right now.
Can you get into a little Apex? Will that kind of curb you?
It's not a respawn shooter. It's not a respawn shooter. So that's a BR. BRs are overplayed and they're just saturated and not fun anymore.
Well, now we can just do the part of the segment where I can just ask you a few questions and just keep going and see what you say about it. Okay. How about, have you maybe thought about playing Gears again? Maybe some Gears.
Gears is not a respawn shooter.
No, you're not playing Gears. To hate that game.
I asked specifically. I'm talking about a respawn shooter. When I die, I spawn back in on the map and go back towards the objective. Gears is not that.
You respawn in Gears.
No, not in the good games. You die and that's it. And then you go on to the next round. That's not a respawn shooter.
In the death matches, you respawn. You just gotta hope the rest of the game.
I would have to find the 7 people that are playing fucking deathmatch and not whatever the search and destroy version of it is. Yeah. Let me do that. I don't even own Gears. What are you talking about?
You don't. Oh, that's right. You were just using the trial.
Using a Game Pass. It's probably still installed somewhere on my computer. My God, I just didn't think about that. We find out.
It's deep in your registry right now, man. Bro. So what do we got going for the rest of the week, man? Anything good coming up on your calendar? Any events? Anything like that? You were asking for some thermal paste, man, and I actually went back to go look for thermal paste for you. Some fat kid grabbed the last.
You didn't ankle pick them?
I don't think you're allowed to ankle pick children that are not your own. I'd have to look into that.
I've been doing this wrong my entire life.
I have to consult my lawyer. Make sure.
You have a lawyer.
He's on retainer. I usually just call him like Ed. It's me again. All
right, $75 an hour. Like, wow, this is the greatest $75 I could have spent right now. I'm gonna get my entire hour too. By the way, Ed, you fucking asshole.
So the 17th, we got one more big thing happening on the 17th. You know,
the new graphics cards, the 3080s are coming out on the 17th, so that's exciting.
So that means you're going to be sitting up on the 16th, refreshing your web page every minute.
Try to, not even probably faster than that. I should be spamming F5.
Just trying to get that reword. I think the worst thing I've seen this week on the internet, man, besides the unboxing for those cards, were the unboxings for the Xbox Series S and X, and it's not the real thing. It's just different. Okay. This is something I'm like, this is how you know COVID is really starting to impact things. It's like
it's this time of year though. This time of year for this kind of stuff is slow. It's really, really slow.
So bad, man. And people are doing the unboxing, and I'm like, man, he's doing a really good job selling that piece of cardboard. It's like, this is what the dynamic.
Did you see how big this fucking console is going to be?
What? Which one? Xbox?
Yeah, it's gonna be huge. It's gonna be very big, which is good for thermals.
Yeah, no, I'm telling you, I love that breakdown video. I just don't know how good it's gonna look in your entertainment system. Someone made a good video where they had 3 Nighthawk mesh routers, and they were like, "Look, 1 Xbox, 2 Xbox, 3 Xbox," and had them all because it looks like the exact same thing. I saw it doesn't look great. I mean, it looks better than the PlayStation 5. I can admit that. PlayStation 5 looks like something out of a Stanley like a Stanley Kubrick video or something like that.
But so ugly, dude. They're both. I mean, the Xbox. Actually, I kind of like the Xbox a lot. The way that it looks.
Of course you do. It looks like a PC. It looks like a cheap little PC that some Dell representative tried to sell you. And you're just like,
and it works.
I'm like, yeah, my grandma does do some web browsing. She loves Mozilla. And this is what she uses it on. Oh, I love Mozilla. Anyway,
that's what I'm using right
now. What? You gave up on Chrome?
I haven't used Chrome in years, man.
Why not?
I don't like Chrome. I don't know. I like Mozilla. It's less heavy on your machine. I have Chrome installed. It's not that I don't have it installed. I just don't use it as my main browser.
You know when your friends are going full conspiracy theorist when they start saying things like, "Yeah, you should try DuckDuckGo." I'm like, what?
The search engine?
Yeah, I'm like, what?
Yields like 80% the same results as Google does?
Yeah, I'm like, it's based off the same code and they go to the same well. But you know, if you think it's elite,
the database is different for sure.
I think the one weird thing that it does is it definitely is. Actually, I'm not going to go there, but it's used by another population other than the ultra conservative. And so if you're using that, I just want you to know you are rubbing elbows with some unique people on the internet. They often use it as well.
Sure. You're being very cryptic about what you're saying. So yeah, we're getting the PlayStation Showcase. we're going to get a price realistically, right? We're going to get a price. We're going to get some game announcements. It's on Wednesday. You know, la-di-da. I couldn't care anymore, man. We're so close to when the release is actually going to be, and we don't know the price yet. It's such a bad move. Even the Xbox releasing the way that it did, the price and the way that it came out was still not a good look.
I did the pre-order for the PlayStation just to see what the whole process was like. I'm actually still waiting for I'm not sure if I'm going to get an email or if there's going to be something in my PlayStation that pops up in my PSN account that says, hey, your pre-order has gone through, but supplies are going to be limited.
I think that's such a bad move too. Honestly, I think Nvidia is going to do the same thing with their graphics cards.
Yeah, they 100% are.
So I heard a rumor that, and it actually might stop me from buying a 3080, but they're going to release 18 and 20 gig cards in less than 3 months. There's a big rumor of that going around right now. So I'm probably still going to buy a 3080. It's not going to make that much of a difference. What 16 gigs, 12 gigs, whatever it is. It doesn't matter. But honestly, like anything over 8 at the moment really isn't doing anything for you.
Yeah, not being utilized. You know what though, man? I think you should just go ahead and splurge, man. Just get whatever makes you feel good about yourself. Buy the most beefy card you can get. Yeah, maybe go up to 128 gigs of RAM.
I'm at 32. My next step is 64.
No,
there's no reason. I don't have any reason to do any of those.
Just jump right up, man. You jump up to.
Yeah, like, I'm gonna do that. I'll get right on that. I'm gonna get 4 more monitors as well. You know, just mount them all above. Actually, 2 more of these same cameras, and you know, really, what I do need is some more light. But you know, I won't get that. No, it won't be bamboozling me into spending money on things that I don't need. You know, I need that 360 hertz monitor. I looked at it and I'm like, damn, that shit looks sick. So I might be getting that soon. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in the works.
Yeah, you ask someone why they need a monitor. Like, what do you play, by the way? Oh, you know, little Minecraft, little RuneScape, mostly World of Warcraft. So I'll be like, oh.
I love that you put Minecraft in there, but Minecraft actually benefits from higher frame rates.
I know. When I said it, I was like, damn it.
Wrong game. I should have said he's playing Scribbly. Fucking Fall Guys.
I gotta admit, man, I actually really love watching people play Fall Guys now. There's something so cute about those little.
The game is pretty fun. The game is being ruined right now by hackers.
God, come on, man.
I'm being dead serious. There are. You go into a lobby, any given lobby, man, there's at least one. I was in a lobby, you know, right before I started. I don't know. I haven't played it in a while. There was 4 hackers in the same lobby. And I'm like, this is fun. Wow. Good job, guys. You're really great at the game.
I don't get it, man. I don't get it. It's like, I was watching Doc watch people pretend to be other people who are streaming. So it's basically like people are recording other people's VODs and then playing it on their stream as if that's them playing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what is happening right now? I'm like, what type of person?
So actually, it can be pretty funny. So during the Call of Duty reveal event, a bunch of the people who went to the alpha actually got to play it again, and as part of the reveal, they were streaming it. And I guess Karma didn't get invited. The Damon, the pro player Karma. So he was watching Seth's screen, and then apparently the CDL didn't know that, right? So he had Scumpy's stream up. So then they panned and like, oh hey, and Karma's playing right now, and then like Scump dies and God, Scump, you're making me look bad, and closes it, and they're like, oh, he's not actually playing. That's funny. All right, we're going to someone else. And that shit was hilarious.
I can't even think about how that plays out in a real world scenario. Like, I can't give you anything where in life I can pretend. Oh, I guess lip singing, Milli Vanilli. They were the first.
That was pretty good. That was pretty good. Have you ever seen the clip of the guy on Twitch where he's in the UFC 3 category? This is like 2 years ago, and he's sitting there and he's holding his controller and he's doing the things like you look like you're playing the game.
Yeah.
And then it's like the Connor fight is on. It's one of the funnier moments in Twitch history.
Oh man, speaking of Connor, this did you hear about the debacle
let's get through this really quick because honestly, if it was more than 5 minutes, I'm going to throw up in my own mouth. Connor gets arrested again for alleged sexual assault in some fucking Caribbean island or some bullshit. I don't care. This is not news. This is just Connor's life now.
So apparently his manager released a statement that he will not stand for anyone trying to capitalize or use Connor as a get-rich-quick scheme. And you know what? Here's the sad thing, right? There's some truth to that, right? There's some truth to people who just either come up and just to target, wealthy people who are out and having fun.
Their target is litigation.
Yeah, but here's also a thing, right? So once upon a time, when John got into the first real trouble with the pregnant woman, Connor was the first person to come out publicly and say, I love John. I like him a lot as a person. I don't think he should be out driving himself around in New Mexico. He has more than enough money to hire a driver. Very ironic that we find Connor in this situation.
How many allegations? Second? I think it's 4. I think we're on. I think we're on 4 now. Yeah, well, we're on too many times for this just to be a coincidence that keeps happening, man.
Yeah, but the other 2 were, if that case, the other 3 I was just unsubstantiated, and they just got dropped, right? No charges.
One of them definitely was settled outside of court for sure. 1 or 2 were unsubstantiated, right? Like, yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know at this point anymore, man.
Stay home. Yeah, here's what I do. First million I make, I never leave the house again. The only way I'm talking to you is on the screen, like I talk to you pretty much right now. And I'm going to have people at your house making sure you're not recording me doing any weird stuff. I'm not leaving the house anymore. If we go out for anything, once I have $20 million in the bank,
just one
singular $1 million, I go super paranoid. Imagine me with 25 million. It's like, you get too close to me.
25.
No, I'm gonna need you to sign a waiver. You're like, no, just not happening, man. I can't. I live in fear of that type of stuff. Even in my normal day-to-day job, if someone of the opposite sex talks to me for more than 15 seconds, I bring someone else over into the conversation. I do it every time. I'm like, oh yeah, that's funny. Hey Zach, hey, come over here and listen to the story. And then I make sure there's a witness that can always be there. I'm always in camera sight, and my hands are always where you can see them. That's how paranoid I am, dude.
Yeah, but and you don't have a reason to be, right? It's yeah, I don't know. I'm past the Connor stuff, man. I have not cared about what Connor is doing or hasn't done for a long time now.
Someone told me he'll probably be coming back for a fight. Don't believe that.
But with who? Who wants to? Everyone wants to fight him, but who is he going to fight? Masvidal is going to fight Nate Diaz.
Yeah, but
that's already in the works.
Casuals will pay to see him fight Masvidal. Even some hardcores will
You'll pay for it.
Yeah, of course I am, man. It's a staple in the Hoda House. We give Dana White $65 at least 4 times a month to keep him afloat because he needs it, man.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I honestly don't care. I'll watch him fight, but I honestly don't care. This big talk of him making a return this year obviously was not true. I couldn't give 2 shits about what Conor does or about his life anymore.
Poor guy.
He's not a fighter anymore. He's a wannabe.
Oh man, you're going in hard, man. I hope you never bump into the guy while he's got on some of those Gucci's, those tight pants. You get beat up by a guy who's
5'5", 155 pounds. What do you mean?
Zach, it's going to take both of us to beat him in our current physical state. But I'll be there for you, buddy. We're going to look like we fought Thanos himself.
I don't get the reference, but that's funny.
Oh.
I think I just broke Steve.
I got nothing for you. Anything else?
Yeah, we're gonna talk about the Joe Rogan wants to moderate a debate between Trump and Biden.
Speaking of the obscene,
yeah, right. We might as well keep down this path of I want to throw up in my own mouth. So Rogan tweeted that he wants to do a 4-hour debate, pre-recorded, no outside media, and Trump seemingly agrees to it. I know. I mean, Trump can say whatever the hell he wants on Twitter. I don't know if it actually comes into play, but Biden has not said anything. Steve thinks it's a big case for Biden. I actually kind of agree. He swayed me on this. I think it's a bad look for Biden not saying anything, but it doesn't. But I mean, I think if Biden looks at it the way that even if Biden agrees to it, it'll never happen. It doesn't matter.
No. So here, let me make sure I'm saying this correctly. I think it's only a bad look in the sense where Biden should at least say, hey, Joe, thanks for the invitation. I would be more than happy to come on your show to talk about the issues, but I think the debates should be held in their traditional in a traditional place and location and setting. Here's the crazy thing, though. I think Americans would really respond well to it. The only way it goes well and the only way I would tune into it is if there's someone there who says, we are talking policy tonight. That's what I want. I want 4 hours of these two old men.
I think Rogan's the person to do it, right?
I think so. I think so. Man.
And he's the only person who, like, when someone he doesn't need it, right? And that's what the thing is right? A lot of these moderators are like news anchors or like or this or that, right? Yeah. Not even though they're biased, but that's their job. Right, their job is to bring news, and if they say something like, "Excuse me, Mr. Trump, that's actually factually incorrect. Stop saying that." Like Rogan could say that, right? What is Trump going to do? Like, I'll call up Spotify. Well, you got to break that contract when you got to pay him all $100 million and tell him to get the fuck out. Like he has his own platform, right? He doesn't need a company or a person or like the ratings to be something, right? If he does it, it'll be the most downloaded thing of the year, right? Let's be fair.
And that's, it's funny because that's real freedom right there. Even though he signed a contract with Spotify, but
just to host his stuff, right? Like, he doesn't work for Spotify. Joe Rogan works for Joe Rogan. And even if he says, all right, I don't need the 100 million, fuck you, he has a whole comedy career he falls back on, right?
Not a great one, but
what are you talking about? Not a great one. He's one of the most popular comics in the country at the moment.
He is more funny to me on his show. This is just me. I don't really enjoy his comedy. I enjoy his podcast and his conversation skills, and I think he's funnier when he's doing that type of stuff. But I agree with you, man. Like, that's real freedom.
I don't care about how funny he is to you, but I'm saying he has a very successful comedy career to fall back on.
Listen, I'm not disputing his mediocre comedy career. What I'm talking about now...
No, hold on. You could say his comedy is mediocre. That's fair. You cannot deny the fact that he is singly... maybe one of the most popular comics in the country at the moment. Sell out any arena, any spot in the country.
Listen, a lot of people go to a lot of places. I can't debate that. What I'm talking about...
You're doing this thing again, man. You literally doing this is the least fun I have on this show.
Listen to me. All I'm saying is the most freedom that anyone has to be able to have your own platform and to have the power to be able to say, hey, this is what I want this conversation to be about. And to be able to stick to that and have integrity about it would be amazing. But as you said before, no one's going to actually do it, right? I don't even think Trump shows up that day.
Nope.
Because once he shows up and he actually sees there's an agenda and by agenda, I don't mean it in the way that you hear it in the news, like a secret narrative.
No, like a list of things that are going to happen.
The word traditionally means.
Right. An itinerary is the word that people use now, right?
Like, I don't think he would actually want to sit down and have that level of debate. One of the best things that I enjoyed about Rogan was, I was talking to Diaz about it, and there are some times where he doesn't push hard enough on people, and I think that's just his interview style, where he just allows a person to kind of talk out their worldview. But you got to look at the times he has done it and how masterful it's been. Like, just think about it for a second. He got Alex Jones on that show, and not that we didn't see Alex in a different light than we've seen him before, but he actually got him on that show, and for 2.5 hours, we were all captivated by how unleashed
he's done it twice.
Yeah, think about when he had Candace Owens, all the other conservatives on there. He allows you to hear someone's point. So then you, as the person consuming the media, are able to make a well-informed decision and go, this person's an idiot. Sure. Like, I've listened to them, and he asks the questions, and when he needs to, he does the pushback. It's just one of those things. But like you said, it's something we're never going to get. But I really do think that this is where this should be heading. This should be heading more. I think that when it comes to canvassing and going out and sharing your political views as a candidate, I personally would be going on more independent podcasts. Like, I would,
right? Bernie did it. A number of people. Obama at one point had agreed to come on the Joe Rogan Experience, but he had requested the fact that he needs questions in advance so he can have answers for him, and Rogan just said no, right? So there's a number of things. I don't know, man. I don't care. It'll never happen.
What's interesting? Tulsi Gabbard. Do you know who that is? The Hawaiian senator or congresswoman?
She was running for the Democratic nomination for a while. Yeah.
She's actually someone I think that, if this whole thing doesn't work out for her, which it doesn't look like, the DNC, get rid of her pretty soon, they could kick her out the party. I think she would be actually a good podcast personality, like someone that would be able to captivate and hold my attention in an interview format. Otherwise than that, I don't care about this either. I'm just waiting to see how crazy this whole thing is going to get, right? Because at some point they are going to have to face off against each other, and I think it's going to be the funniest and saddest day in American history. The next thing is, I just thought about this right now. There is one instance where I've thought Joe Rogan was completely hilarious, and it was on the stage, and it was when he confronted another comedian about stealing jokes. And
this was 15 years ago, though.
Yeah, 15 years ago, but still legendary. Because he
threatened Carlos Mencia. It's the reason why he left the Comedy Store for 7 or 8 years. Is the reason the Comedy Store almost closed down.
But this is why I have so much respect for him, because there are a lot of people that will say a lot of things in their life, and there are a lot of people who say, if I was there, I'll do this. If I was there, I would do that. But, it's like, you're not going to do shit.
Yeah, but I mean, he's been super hypocritical about that as well. He's had Amy Schumer on the show who has stolen jokes. There's a number of comics he's had on the show that have stolen jokes, and he hasn't pressed them about it.
Do you think Amy Schumer is funny?
No, she's not. She's related to Chuck Schumer. Is the only reason she was ever popular.
It's, what's the other guy? Dan Cook. Think he's funny?
Dan Cook was funny for sure. His first 2 specials way back in the day. Sorry, post Comedy Central specials. I don't know. That was a thing for a long time. Some of his stuff was really funny. When he's talking about doing the breaking and entering is hilarious. Like there's a number of bits that he did from back then were incredible. Yeah, I think they were funny.
I think the movies killed his career, man. I think that
$100 million contract he signed with Disney. Yeah, it really killed his career.
What, Dan Cook? Yeah, but his brother got
all that money back. That motherfucker's in jail, dog.
What's Dan Cook doing now? Where's he at now? What's he doing now?
He signed that contract with Disney for those movies, and he does voiceovers for movies.
Which movies is that voiceovers?
I couldn't tell you offhand, but
was it $100 million?
It was a lot. He signed a big deal. 10 movies, X amount of money, approaching $100 million in some facet. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was really funny. I
remember he was like a running skit on Family Guy, and I could never understand why Seth MacFarlane gave him so much shit. Like paid so much special attention to him. I never thought he was a bad comedian. I just know that movie with Jessica Alba. Oh God, good luck, Chuck.
Yeah, I don't know. He signed a deal a long time ago. It was, I don't remember the exact, answers of it, but yeah, Vicious Circle and Rough Around the Edges were both very funny.
I'm looking at the movie list right now. Good Luck, Chuck. Employee of the Month.
Employee of the Month is funny.
My Best Friend's Girl. Actually, here's an interesting one that's on his resume. It's called Mr. Brooks with Kevin Costner. Amazing movie.
Really?
Yeah, Dan Cook's actually really good in it as a scumbag. Like he's actually great in that movie as a scumbag. If you ever get a chance, folks, check that one out. But in regards to this debate, it's not going to happen. I know who they're going to get to moderate the debate, and it's just going to be a freaking shit show. It's going to be Lester.
It doesn't matter. The debates don't actually mean anything because they're not actual debates, right? They're not like, here's a point, you make a point, you make a point. Like that isn't a thing. So it doesn't matter. It's gonna be Lester Holt. Do you know who this guy is? He's hosted.
Hosted.
I'm going to say, not even moderated. Hosted. Because generally, moderator would step in if someone says something factually incorrect, which they're not allowed to do. So yeah, he's done a number of the debates, if I remember correctly.
I'm trying to think of what the response would be from Trump's base if someone fact checked him, and it's just like it's not going to be mad. He could literally
because whatever Trump says, they just believe it's fact. I'm done with politics talk. I'm sorry. This is painful to me. I don't like politics talk.
No, I hear you, man. What else we got on the agenda here?
I don't have anything else, my friend. We had very short topics list compared to last week, or the last episode, not even last week. I forget that we do these twice a week now. I'm here both Mondays and Fridays, and you guys get to see these Tuesdays and Saturdays. Another interview coming out this week.
Nice.
On
Wednesday.
So
Who we got?
So I believe the second interview was Desi, right?
Yes, sir.
So
one of my favorites, actually. I had a lot of fun with that.
She's got 25% chance to be the favorite, I guess. Yeah, so that coming out this week on Wednesday for all you audio listeners. You guys haven't seen these yet, or haven't listened to them. I guess you're not seeing shit. So we got that. Nothing else, man. That's it. You want to wrap it up?
Folks, you know where to find us. Talking with a Dad, IG, Facebook, Instagram is IG, Twitter, Anchor, Podbeam, not Podbeam anymore. Spotify. Google Podcasts, if you know how to navigate that shit show.
I have a Google phone, can't find it.
You can just Google us and you'll find us everywhere. Actually, we come up pretty high in Google, and if you're looking for Fat Mantis,
number one, baby. number one.
Join the Discord. Hit us up. Let us know what you think of the show, what direction we're headed in now. And if you have any topics you want to talk about, just hit us up. We're very approachable, and we'll definitely cover those as well.
Steve is approachable. I'm a little bit.
He's been playing COD this week, folks. Give him some space. Have a good one.